Namaste. Gajanana Maharaj was this great, great yogi. He lived in obscurity. It was estimated that in 50 years, he hadn't even taught 50 people because he hadn't found 50 people that he felt would really apply it and attain enlightenment. And again, in light of Soham, you can find, besides his life story, the accounts of various of his disciples, how they came to him, what he taught them, and so on. Some mention a couple of things, but usually, of course, they don't describe their experiences. Now, therefore, let's begin to look at what Gajanana Maharaj had to say. And I've got pages here of his wisdom. And fortunately, uh, his disciples wrote down, and then some he wrote. He was asked for the birth observance of Sri Ramana Maharshi in the 1940s. He was asked to send a message to them. He was asked to come and speak in Mumbai. He was living in Nashik in the state of Maharashtra. And he didn't travel, he didn't go around. So he himself wrote quite a lot of material about sadhana and sent it, and it was read out, and they appreciated very much. And then again, when they had the birth celebration, they asked him, and he wrote again a great deal of material, and that's been put in a book. And that book is included in Inspired Wisdom of Sri Gajanana Maharaj. So I'm drawing from both his teachings recorded to his disciples, by that I mean written down, and from Prabhu. Okay. Very first one, good. Oh, my mind, be always repeating the Japa of Soham. Well, there you got. That's the secret of success. Now, we need to observe yama and niyama, all the do's and the don'ts of yoga. We need to have the right diet. Yes, we need to have the right way of life. And then, if the mind is always in Soham, every breath is a step toward the infinite. That sounds very high flown and poetic, but you practice, and it won't be a long time. You won't take years and years. I, of course, had practiced different forms of meditation for over 50 years and found that they had some value, but they never really got beyond a certain point. And I came across a website by accident. I have no idea how it happened to get it. I was searching for something on the web. Heavenly days, I don't know what it was. And boom, here came this website. And I thought, well, this is really interesting. This is kind of amazing. And guess who didn't have enough sense to note the address of the website? So I had to poke around again. Finally, I found it. Then I noted it. And on the website, they said there was a book printed in Maharaj's lifetime, and you could download it. So I downloaded it, and I read it, and it was, as people said about Jesus, never did I hear anyone speak like this and say this. So bold. Like he'd say, fake yogis and fake yoga, fake gurus. My Lord, nobody said that. That wasn't positive. but he said it. And then he said, and Soham, that's it. So, well, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So I sat and I did what was to be done. And I'm not exaggerating. Part of it was because I'd had a lot of experience. I had a lot of, of going in and being aware of the inner mechanism, the antakarana, and the mind. But I'm telling you, after 5 minutes, I said to myself, oh, I love this. And I knew I'd found the way. And just more and more it increased. After all, reality is infinite in a sense. Therefore, you'll never come to a stagnant point where you say, okay, I've got it. That's the highest. Believe me, it goes on and on. All right. Therefore, be always repeating the Japa of Soham. That's all it takes. And if you don't do it, then nothing will happen. And you'll accomplish nothing. That's the truth. All right. The Soham mantra has great powers, and owing to its powers, a man is sure to have the goal of human life fulfilled. The goal of human life is not to be happy. Children are happy if you give them uh, a little toy, which they'll outgrow within a few years, or maybe within 2 or 3 years if it's very simple. What does happiness mean? Foolish people are happy with very little. Mentally deficient people are often very happy all the time. So, happiness, which is ego experience basically, doesn't mean much. But because the goal of life is Atma Darshana, experience of your divine self, the Jivatma, the individual spirit, and then the Paramatma, the supreme spirit, within which we have existed eternally and with which we are absolutely one and a part of, despite our distinction. It's a mystery that naturally our ordinary mind can't grasp because, well, we don't know anything like that. But try it and you'll find it out. I was one time in Louisiana and it was lunchtime, and this man was sitting there and he was just eating jalapeno peppers, just chewing on them. Remember? Well, I was from Illinois. We didn't even use cayenne pepper. Black pepper was the hottest thing we ever did. And so he's just eating it. And I'd heard that jalapenos were hot. I said, isn't that hot? No, he said, here, try one. Well, I just took a teeny bit. Yeah, it was. And then I chomped. Oh, conflagration. Believe me, the Great Chicago Fire had nothing, couldn't compare with what I was feeling in my mouth. Oh boy, you had to really bite it to get the whole flavor. So experiencing, that's what is needed. All the beautiful words. People with real realization, they don't give all kinds of descriptions. Oh, they may say some. Some master teachers have said, well, this and this occurs. But it isn't rhapsodic, like, oh, it was so wonderful. And you too can have and be wonderful. No, it's in the way the yogis talk. So, the Soham mantra has great powers, and owing to its powers, a man is sure to have the goal of human life fulfilled. Sure to, when done right. Meditate and repeat this mantra Soham in your mind. Next, in a sense of next section, these are very brief. Simply go on repeating the mantra Soham. That will take care of everything else. Now, that does not mean that you can go out and get drunk every Saturday night and be a Soham yogi. That you can eat all the Kentucky Fried Chicken you want. You know. What he means is all the difficulties, all the problems that come from just being in the human condition. And yes, our own negative karmas and our own delusions, and you'll find them all there inside waiting for you. That will take care of them. That will heal them or purify them, transmute them or eliminate them. But that simple thing will do it. The taking of the breath generates the sound so, and the giving out generates the sound of hum. Thus, the sound of Soham is being continually generated in every creature, although few are conscious of it. Yes, in the mosquito flying about. All the insects breathe, you see. Plants breathe. They take in carbon dioxide, they give out oxygen. So even the trees, every blade of grass is breathing in some sense, and breath always has these two, and no more and no less, factors: the in movement and the out movement. So the whole world is saying Soham, the whole solar system, the whole cosmos, so called inanimate matter. There's no such thing. Everything is alive because everything is formed of the consciousness of God. Therefore, it's the heart of everything, which means everything has an affinity with it. And Soham can teach you a lot in relation to other things, but that's not to be told by me. That's for the individual Soham yogi to experience for himself and then realize, yes, this is working. And my own self, which is Soham, for as the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad said, the great Purusha, the great being, Brahman, in the beginning, in his own unity, first spoke. Now, it didn't mean he had a mouth to speak, it meant a thought generated concept. And said, Soham Asmi. Asmi means I am. Soham, so is that, and hum is I am. And but Asmi is a synonym for I am. They're so I am. I am. I am. I am. Well, okay. What is your name? Moses asked God. God said, I am that I am. God the Absolute said, if you want to be a Christian, if you want to be a Jew, you better get on board because that's God's true name. Soham as Asmi. So that hum, I am. I am that. So there we have it. That will take care of everything. All right. When we become conscious of Soham, we become conscious of our own self. Just one more. Soham means I am that. Soham, therefore, is the sign showing, or the sign of, the oneness of the end of the jiva and Shiva. Uh, Shiva is seen as, I don't think, yes, there above my finger. That's the form of Shiva and deity Shiva. But that is a symbolic form. But Parama Shiva is the absolute spirit, the absolute being, without form, and whose nature cannot be encompassed in words. So, and thou art that. There's an Upanishad where a young boy goes and he gets religious teaching. He learns the scriptures, he learns the Vedas and so on. And when he comes home, his father, who was a great yogi, but great yogis usually do not teach those close to them about yoga because they'll think, well, did they just water it down for me because I'm their child or because I'm their friend? And so they send you to someone who'll teach you the whole thing and also maybe discipline as you would not like your father or friend to discipline you. And um, uh, so it's sometimes good to learn it from somewhere else. And so it is, however, the sign and the way to the experience of the oneness of you and God, of the Jiva and Shiva. I'm going to go one more. This is so good. Naturally, I don't want to stop at any one of them. All right, last one, I promise. All knowledge has been centered in Soham. In other words, everything we know, everything we can think, ultimately, why did we do it? Okay, electricity, light bulbs. Why did it occur? Because a conscious person wanted a certain form of light. Because this person wanted to be able to do something by light, and the older forms of light were unsure and not very bright. So it was Edison's experience of I exist, I have aims, I have goals, and if I can do this, it'll make life better for me and all others. And it all comes back to Aham and to us, me. I am. That's what it means when he says all knowledge has been centered there. Because people were self aware and they were part of the infinite, they naturally sought for transcendence, for expansion, for depth of knowledge and awareness. And Soham is the seed of that. All the four Vedas, excuse me, the Gita, that's the Bhagavad Gita, and the Gayatri Mantra that I mentioned, tell us nothing except Soham. In other words, their essence is Soham. The knowledge, the ability to get the knowledge of those things came from the consciousness that is rooted in Soham, that is inseparable from Soham. Therefore, there is a question. What thing which being known, you know everything? The answer was the self. Now I realized I got off the story of the man whose son came home and he questioned him. He said, well, I don't think you know anything. He said, I don't. He said, well, you don't know the self. You learned geography, you learned history, you didn't learn these other things. So he tells him, I hope sometimes to make a series on the Upanishads. We can go through that. But he keeps describing similes. And he says, that is the real. At the end of each example, that is the real. That is the truth. And you, Shvetaketu, which was the name of the envoy, you are that. Tut, that. Twam, you, asi, are. You are that. It isn't just saying, oh, God came to earth and taught us and did this, and so we pray to him, oh, Savior, Savior. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's kindergarten. When you get out of it, you realize that there's more to do than say, please, Daddy, please, Mommy, look after me. And that's what Sun is all about and what yoga is all about, and which Soham is all about. So then, thank you. I've gone 16 minutes longer than what I thought it would, though I've changed my mind now on talking. Our future talks, I hope, will be 25 minutes. So then I can say, well, I've only gone 11 minutes beyond it. But anyway, I hope we'll take this journey together. Maharaj says amazing things. All great masters oftentimes say things that they're packed with many, many meanings and many aspects. And that's why I'm going to comment on it. Otherwise, I would just say, okay, read this book. And you should, I hope. Please do read this book. But I'll try to be able to come up with some. See, truth is infinite. So I'll be able to come up, I hope, with aspects that you won't have found in that book and you won't find anywhere else. So, all right. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste.